Right, let's do business. Thanks to our partners, Forsyth Barr. And we're talking jobs and we're talking unemployment this morning. The numbers out yesterday were nothing to laugh at.
There would have been some swear words probably said when that 5.4 dropped, but it actually masks a picture of that's a little bit optimistic. We've had probably the strongest jobs growth in 18 months for a quarter. And, you know, the pick for that quarter was about 0.3%. It was 0.5%, so a little bit of surprise. The thing is, there are more people looking. Right, so there might be more jobs out there, but there are more people looking, so the number's, you know, higher than we expected. Is it the highest it's got to? I mean, you know, who can say really? You know, you'd have to hope that some of the liquidations are going to tail off and some of the growth that we'd started to see is going to pick up, and firms will get out there and actually start hiring people, and that'll start to lift, right? But, you know, another good thing there, female employment, women really drove it, so more women working. That's great because they probably suffered disproportionately from the downturn.
When it came down.
Yeah, but obviously not enough hours. I think there's probably still scope. All of that's good though, because it means there's capacity in the economy. It maybe dampens the prospect of sort of inflation. The wage cost growth I think was only about 2% up for the year. That's below where inflation is. So I mean that might be why people are feeling hurting when you head to Back and Save or the warehouse or wherever you want to go to shop. But it dampens down. However, I think the market's still picking that OCR rate will climb sooner because that inflation is still a wee bit sticky. Yeah.
Can you explain to us this participation rate thing, that there are more...
Because I want to talk about an example of how this has played out because we had the warehouse group.
Yeah.
Right, yesterday they're going to cut like 270 jobs out of the head office, which is like a sort of a signal. But if you look behind that, where are those jobs going?
India.
Heading to India, right? Part
and
of the trade
AI.
deal that we're doing. Well, and AI is probably a smart play. You look across in the States, Walmart just hit the $1 trillion club this week, which puts them up with the big tech boys. I think Berkshire Hathaway is the only other sort of non-tech player that's worth more than $1 trillion US market cap. And they've got there with Sparky, their little chatbot that's AI powered, that when you go online, massive online. Briscoe's great result this week, turned around three quarters of pretty bad. 20% online sales, over the 20 for the first time. That's a real, well above retail. So you've got to give people options for shopping.
You do, and let's face it, the warehouse needs a turnaround story badly.
Great column from Simon Robertson that's still kicking around on Business Desk from November last year. The warehouse is cooked and everybody knows it. Well worth a read.
It's very true. And you know, there's a reason why they're getting rid of staff, and thankfully it's staff in the head office.
Yeah, well, it's
know what I mean?
Pretty high stakes restructure, and I think Sturton's got a lot on his plate.
Right, we had the kerfuffle yesterday with the dairy trade auction, and we couldn't bring you the numbers, but now we have the numbers and they're actually quite good.
Well worth waiting for. There's a 5.3 in there which was supposed to be the unemployment rate that we love to see. 5.3 increase in the wholesale, in the whole milk powder prices. Boom, it took off. I mean, it's so good. The numbers were 10% increase in the skim milk prices because there's a lot of demand out of the States that's being soaked up by their cheese plants and places. So they've gone looking and they're liking what they see. Middle East is back buying, and all of that means that Fonterra might have to reverse one of those cuts in the farmgate milk price and actually bump things back up from the sort of I think was it 9 kgs or
$9
$9 a kilo for milk solids, right? That might actually happen. They've got I think annual results and so or half year results in March. Could be a chance to do that. So that's some really good news too.
Great. Tell me about this actually, I got an email about this last night from somebody who was quite agitated about the $35 million that the government is investing into OpenStar. What is it?
What is OpenStar, or what is the investment? Because I've got questions about both. OpenStar, great, interesting, fascinating company based down in Wellington, basically building a star. You know, they're one of about 50 companies, startups around the world that are trying to do fusion power, which is a much cleaner version of nuclear power. Real long shot stuff. I mean, this is real long shot, but they are one of their principals there, I think, is telling our reporters that this is the kind of thing that will keep it onshore for longer and enables them to buy bigger facilities. It's the sort of money that they wouldn't necessarily get from venture capital to try and get going. I was trying to find out. So it was referred to as an investment and a loan. It's come out of the Regional Development Fund, so it's trying to keep it in Wellington, not out of science funding. I talked to one of the science agencies yesterday. They haven't stolen 35 million out of the budget for superconductors and we'll give it to you instead. So this is money that's coming from, what would otherwise help a kiwi fruit orchard or a mussel farm. But they are trying, and it's a loan, but They mentioned an investment, so is this a loan they could convert to equity, to a piece of the action if it takes off?
Right.
Is this the new way that the government's going to try and sort of back science? We've still got a few questions about it. I think overall it's pretty good to sort of see
Cool.
government leaning into something that's, potentially, as the guy said, GDP is predominantly determined by the cost of water and the cost of electricity.
Thank you, Garth. That's Herald Now business host Garth Bray. We talk business every day with our partners Forsyth Barr. Always good to see you, Garth.